Oh, my God, today. Baby, this episode, I don't want to be the one to come down here and say, I told you so. But as I stated on Instagram, no, Twitter, I'm always vindicated. Shout out to Kenya Moore. Shout out to Karen Hugel. That might not be the right person to say. I will be vindicated. I'll be vindicated. I'm always vindicated. Okay. Good, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back. And I just wanted to come down here and run my mouth about girl married to medicine, girl fight night. Hey, I just, I just want people to the hatred, the disdain that people have for Quad. I want y'all to please just throw that out of the window for just a few minutes. Take Dr. G, take Quad out of the scenario, and just think of just two normal people. So let's just talk, okay? Because I have a lot to say. I don't even know where to start. Okay, we'll just start with how the episode kicked off. It kicked off with Dr. G turning into Usain Bolt, girl running from King. Now, this is after he has started mess with this man. Be very clear. If you watch the show, there's no way that you can deny, you can, but it wouldn't be the truth. There's no way that you can deny that Dr. G bucked up at King twice before King decided to shake the table. So now here we are. King was trying to get to Dr. G. And I completely understand why. It might not be right. It might be gutter snipe. It might be juvenile. It might be a lack of emotional intelligence. It may be a lack of self control. All of those things can be true. But it does not take away from the fact that most men, not all, are not going to are not going to sit there and basically let you, girl, beat your chest in their face. And then say in front of their face, in front of a group of people, that, yeah, I cussed your girl out last night. And then y'all think that ain't nothing about to happen. Dr. G wanted a fight with King. It amazes me. I am literally in awe of the amount of people who have turned themselves into Simone Biles, doing flips, kicks, and cartwheels in the name of trying to defend Dr. Gregory Lunsford. And you see how he was talking to Sweet Tea this episode. But when I tell you I gagged at the end, so they break up the fight, what was almost a fight. They break it up, and it's just a whole bunch of mess. It's just a whole bunch of mess. And him and Quad eventually walk off, and he tells Quad that he admitted that he cursed you out last night. And she was like, to me? Like, and I said this in my live. I know some of y'all don't watch, probably were not in the live or didn't watch the video, but I said this in my live a couple of days ago or last week, whenever it was, that I don't believe, as dramatic as Quad is, as over the top as Quad can be, I do not believe that when Dr. G did curse her out or cursed at her, that she heard him. In that moment, if Quad Webb, the woman who jumped out of a casket, the woman who had a whole napkin taped across her face, the woman who gives you BET plus Tyler Perry monologue season after season, I do not believe that Quad heard Dr. G curse at her and she didn't say nothing. Girl, that in that moment right there, with the alcohol flowing, tensions were already high, that would have been a fight right there. If Quad or King had heard Dr. G curse at Quad. Dr. Mimi. I like Dr. Mimi. I want Dr. Mimi to come back next season. I was having a conversation with someone, and I was just saying how, like, girl, one of the things I don't like about Married to Medicine is, girl, like they like get the girls in and get them out. It's never like a solidified like friend group besides the ones who have already been there. But have you noticed that kind of like it's kind of like what they do on like I guess Atlanta too in a way. Like it's like the girls come in one season they be gone, one season they like girl. Let the girls kind of get used to just keep Dr. Mimi. Dr. Mimi seemed like she cool. Let her stay around for a couple of seasons. She cool. Okay. Um, but yeah, so Dr. Mimi, Sweet Tea, Phaedra, Contessa. Baby. I got something I gotta say. I gotta say it. When I tell you, baby, the way Sweet Tea was breaking down in the middle of that sandbar, you would have thought that she had just received news that her parents had died, that Dr. G had passed away, that her best friend from college had passed away, that a family member had passed away, a friend, her dog, her cat, her goldfish. The way that Sweet Tea was responding to the mess, I was like, I need to know what happened on that sandbar. I need to watch this episode because a clip had already started making its rounds on social media this past weekend. And I was like, I need to know what happened on this beach, this sandbar, to have a better understanding. Maybe Sweet Tea's response to the mess was warranted. Maybe this prayer circle, maybe Phaedra speaking in tongues. Girl, it'll all make sense once I watch this. And I'm sorry to say, none of it made sense. I did not understand the prayer circle. Girl, I did not understand Phaedra speaking in tongues, especially, and I don't believe that Phaedra was speaking in tongues. I don't believe it, and I'm gonna tell you why. Phaedra was just the other day when they were in Orlando, rolling her eyes and scrunching up her face when they got around Quad and Jackie started saying a prayer for the friend group. What was Phaedra Parks doing in the background? You better go back and watch it. Scrunching up her face, rolling her eyes. Now, the same one, girl, fast forward 3 weeks later, now you speaking in tongues. Now you want to get up. But I think it was before Jackie started saying the prayer. You want. I think Phaedra was putting on because I think at that point she had already received the phone call. Girl, go ahead and get back over to Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think that's all that was. I'm sorry. I know that God can show up at different times and different days and different at different moments. Girl, the spirit can move you at any time. I don't think it was moving. I don't think it was moving Phaedra. I think RHOA was moving Phaedra. And Phaedra got on that private jet and flew right back to Atlanta and started filming Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16. That's what I think happened. I think that it was a lot going on in that beach. I think that Sweet Tea, and I have been saying this, Yes, I have never been on reality TV. I will probably never do reality TV, but from what I hear, you have to be cut from a certain cloth in order to do reality TV. I heard it is a lot and it can be stressful. I don't think that reality TV is made for, I don't think Sweet Tea is made for reality TV. I just don't. Seems like a nice girl. We're going to get into that husband of hers in a little bit. But that reaction, girl, girl, you would have sworn that Dr. G had gotten beaten down to a pulp and they had to transport him to a hospital and he was in ICU, the way that Sweet Tea was acting. You got Contessa sending prayers up. You got Phaedra speaking in tongue. You got Mimi talking about don't let them go come after your covenant. It was a mess. Apollo said that he'd been knowing that lady since 1997 and he ain't never seen her speak in tongue. I think Phaedra's putting on for the cameras. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that that's everybody who speaks in tongue, but what I'm saying is I think that Phaedra's putting on for the camera. I do. Sorry. um, Dr. Heavenly, on the way back, she says that Sweet Tea is too violent. Do I think that Sweet Tea is violent? I'm not there. You know, Dr. Heavenly tried to say like last week that I think that she bumped, like she did like a chest bump to Dr. Simone. I think at this point they no longer have a need for Sweet Tea. And I think that they miss they misjudged the room, misjudged the room, and they thought that Sweet Tea and Phaedra were going to come in and they were going to get Quad out, and then the reaction from even the people who don't like Quad last season, it kind of slapped them in the face, and now it's like, okay, girl, we got to get Sweet Tea up out of here, and now the stuff has really hit the fan. We're gonna get into it though, because I got something for all of them. But is Sweet Tea violent? I don't know. I think that she's not equipped for reality TV. Sweet Tea says she can't beat up a senior citizen. She was talking about Heavenly. As your husband, who's older than Dr. Heavenly, sitting right beside you. Can I say something? I understand that they do little girl Sweet Tea. I get it. It will never make sense that in response, Sweet Tea takes a dig at their age, being that her husband is the same age as some of these women or even older. Now, would it be okay if King did it? No. But it would make a little bit more sense if King was like, I ain't hanging around these old ass people. Because his girlfriend, even though she ain't just no 20-something-year-old girl, she's still not Jackie's age. She still ain't Dr. G's age. You see what I'm saying? So it's always weird when Sweet Tea takes a dig at their age and her husband is older than Dr. Heavenly. Her husband, I think, is the same age as Dr. Simone, 50, I think like mid 50s maybe. It's just weird to me. And I do understand that they do try to little girl Sweet Tea. But in response, girl, you trying to say that they're old when your husband is old, I think is absolutely insane. Um, Dr. Heavenly and Simone talked to Apollo and Shireen. Look, y'all know it's a cold day in hell when I start defending Phaedra Parks. Phaedra don't owe Apollo a goddamn thing. Do I think that Phaedra invited? Listen, I already told y'all. I thought from the get go that Phaedra, not from the get go, but when they had that after the speed dating situation, when her and Sheck met up and Sheck was feeding her, I said, girl, they know each other. Something ain't right. Girl, Phaedra know that man. And she knew that that was Apollo's friend. At the end of the day, Phaedra don't owe Apollo shit. Do I think that Phaedra did that to possibly get a lick back at Apollo? I do. But do I think that Phaedra owes Apollo anything? Absolutely not. Girl, you need to talk to your homeboy. That's where the loyalty should come from. I don't owe you shit. Hello? Nothing. So they can try to get mad at Phaedra all day long, but the fact of the matter is, let's just call a thing a thing. A Phaedra tried to weasel her way out of acting as if she didn't know that Apollo was coming. Phaedra knew damn well that Apollo was coming. Okay? She knew that. She knew Apollo was coming. I don't think she knew Shireen was coming, but I think that was a surprise to her. But she definitely knew 100% that Apollo was coming. So since Apollo is coming and y'all want to start some mess and y'all think I'm going to be out here by myself like I was last year, right? I'm going to invite his homeboy. and whatever happens. It is what it is. But Phaedra knew Apollo was coming though. Why she's trying to act like she didn't know. She knew. Okay, be very clear. I put Phaedra is full of shit. She went from praising the group to calling them mean girls. Phaedra, girl, please don't. Please, we ain't never forgot how you moved on Real Housewives of Atlanta and the shit that you did over there. Girl, you might be the mean girl. Now, does it take away from these girls being mean girls? No, because they are. Okay, they are. But girl, you fit right in. Okay. You were just praising the group last year. Now I know things can change, but girl, you went from praising the group, saying how if you were around them, maybe you would still be married to Apollo, to now there's some mean girls. And I hate to say it, but Phaedra, even though Phaedra ain't got shit going on American medicine, and she shouldn't be on there, Phaedra, you are the one who invited Apollo to the reunion last year. And he is the one who said that y'all were actually doing great. Even though, girl, he can't come into your house. But you opened up that door when you invited Apollo to that goddamn reunion. The truth of the matter is, Quad ain't never wanted Dr. G back around. You wanted Apollo back around, clearly. Because if Phaedra didn't want Apollo around, he would not be there. It was already told last year that the girls were actually trying to bring Apollo into the show, and Phaedra shut that shit down. She went to NBC, the producer, somebody, and she said, absolutely not. It wasn't until Phaedra decided to bring Apollo into the show that they said, okay. But they were already trying to, from what I understand, trying to get Apollo to come onto the show. And Phaedra went and said, absolutely not. So if Phaedra didn't want Apollo even this go around on the girls' trip, she could have went and got a shutdown again like she did last year. Anyways, so she tells Dr. Jackie that she's disappointed in her. I put I don't know why. Again, like I put, this is some bullshit. I'm with Phaedra, but I ain't with Phaedra for the most part. Phaedra, girl, we know what's going on now, at least. Girl, this was your time to wrap it up so you could get back home to start filming for Real Housewives of Atlanta. So you had to come up with some type of excuse. So they're mean girls. Let me do a quick speaking tongue on the beach and then wrap it up and say, girl, I gotta go because y'all are mean girls and I don't hang around these type of mean girls. When the reality is, girl, you were just going back to shoot season 16 of Real Housewives of Atlanta. That's it. Girl, that's it. And so now you got to put on that it's that now you got to put on that it's Jackie's fault and this and this and this and that. Girl, okay, girl. They end up going out. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I did scream when Phaedra, when Dr. Jackie said, Phaedra, do you really want to leave like this? And she said, I do. And then she walked off. And she walked off with that coffee in her hand, dragging her suitcase with her Valentino purse. I think it was Valentino. I think it was Versace or Valentino. I can't remember. And she walked off, and Dr. Jackie was sitting behind her, and then she closed that door, and Dr. Jackie leaned against that wall like this. I was screaming. Ah, God, I was screaming. Anyways, Dr. Jack, Phaedra did gag Dr. Jackie though. She couldn't even say nothing. All she could do was lean against the wall and fold her arms. Okay. Anyways, Dr. Damon says any man will basically already what I said, girl. Most men are going to fight. Maybe it has to do with pride, ego, you testing their manhood, whatever. The reality is, girl, most men are going to fight. Whether their girlfriend, wives are girlfriends, wives could be completely wrong. But you're not going to talk crazy to these folks' girlfriends or wives and expect that it ain't gonna be some furniture moving. It's just not gonna happen. And I think that the men in this group have an understanding of how they operate in this group. Like I said, girl, I don't have to agree to understand. Okay, that's the thing. I can have understanding and don't agree. Me personally, I don't believe in a woman and a man can't, you know, have a back and forth, a confrontation. Because if you say something to me, I don't give a fuck if you are a woman. I'm gonna say something back. You're grown, as far as I'm concerned, in my eyes, you're a grown ass person. I'm a grown ass person. You said what you said, I said what I said, and we could be done with it. But I understand in this group, that's not how they move. And it's apparent. Because how many times has Dr. Scott been around Dr. Heavenly? He ain't said shit to Dr. Heavenly. And she told his wife to her face, y'all think your husband is abusive? He ain't said nothing to Dr. Heavenly. Look at Dr. G. How many times has he been around Dr. Heavenly? And she called him a whole Pedialyte online. And he ain't said shit to her. So it's an understanding. Please be very clear. Dr. G just don't give a damn about quad, and that's fine. But he just don't like quad. Okay? But they understand. It has nothing to do with a girlfriend or a wife. The fact of the matter, I'm gonna go ahead and just nip this in the bud. The fact of the matter is, girl, in order to be a wife, you gotta be a girlfriend. So for people to be online trying to downplay Quad and King's relationship because they're not married, I think it's bullshit. Because before you were a wife or a husband, you were a boyfriend and a girlfriend. And as a girlfriend, would your boyfriend just stand there and let you be disrespected by your ex-husband who used to pull you down a flight of stairs? Come on now. Come on. Baby. Baby. Oh. Did y'all see that scene between Dr. G and Sweet Tea? Baby. So Dr. G and Sweet Tea, they left and went back home to Atlanta. And anyways, Sweet Tea is in the kitchen, I think, pouring them a glass of water. And she says, basically, he was talking to her. They were having a conversation. And he mentioned when she started talking about Quad, all of that stuff about she left me, I wasn't ready to hear that BS. He was upset. He was upset that Quad said that I left him. He says we had to get out of there. It would have been a fight to death. Sweet Tea says it wouldn't have been. Now listen, I think multiple things can exist at the same time. To a certain degree, I actually understood what Dr. G was saying. He says if Shek didn't grab King, and then he was like, "What you gonna do?" And then she was like, "I'm comeback trained." And he was like, "You still a woman." For the most part, not in every scenario, not in every situation, typically men are physically stronger than women. That's just a fact. Again, I'm not saying in every scenario, every case, I'm not saying that. But on average, men are typically stronger, physically stronger than women. So I get to a certain degree what Dr. G was trying to say about Sweet Tea being a woman and King being a man and it being a possibility that girl. I understand all of that, but he's still a man at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? You know how y'all say that y'all don't want the trans girls to play in women's sports because y'all say they still men at the end of the day. You see how that? You see what I'm trying to say? Now light bulb went off, right? So you can't sit here and say that you don't agree with that, but then turn around and say that the trans girls can't play in sports because girl they stronger than. You see what I'm trying to say? Okay, so y'all get it. I just want to bring that all together. Um, so I get what Dr. G was saying. How and ever, I don't like the way he talks to that woman. I just don't. I think the way if you go back, some of you may not watch the show, but if you go back and watch the clip, just look at him how he speaks to her. You still a woman. This is what he was doing. You still a woman. Oh, excuse me. Then as she was saying, "I'm come back trained." He was like, "You can be so naive. You can be so naive. It's sweet. It's sweet. You can be so naive." Like the way he was talking to her and looking at her like in disgust. He talks down to Sweet Tea. He doesn't talk to Sweet Tea. There's a difference. I feel so bad for men and women and non-binary and non-gender conforming folk that I see in the comment section, even after what we just saw in this clip. We still have some more to go. Still defending Dr. G. Y'all cannot be that hard up for a piece of dick to the point you are willing to sacrifice your self-worth, girl, your self-value to still defend a nigga like Dr. G because that's her husband. I look at the comments and I'm just like, oh, oh. And it makes me wonder, what are people willing to deal with in their life? It's your fault. He gets up and leaves and goes upstairs. They shut the door. They forget they be mic'd up, or either they don't care. He starts to tell Sweet Tea, it's your fault. Don't say shit to me to make me go off. Let me tell you something. I don't know. I'm not there. The exchange that I heard happen between Dr. G and Sweet Tea, if y'all don't believe what Quad is saying, I don't know what to tell y'all. If that was your mother in that room, if that was someone who you cared about, a woman in that room, your sister, your niece, your grandmother, and you heard a man talking to her like that, I'm looking out for the team. This is what Sweet Tea is trying to tell Dr. G. He says, you're making me hype. He tells her, if you're looking out for the team, then you need to listen to the leader of the team. And then he tells her, I don't know who you think you're talking to. I would not be surprised if we find out that Sweet Tea is having her head banged between a washer and a dryer by Dr. G's hands. Based off what I heard from Dr. G, it's been apparent to me. I think the problem is there are a group of people out there who want to protect Dr. G at all costs because, one, he's a black man. And then once you throw in the fact that he's educated, has a few letters behind his name, girl, you definitely have to protect him. Fuck how he speaks to people. Fuck what you're hearing or seeing on the television screen. Everything I said prior outweighs everything that you see and how you see this man operate on TV. Dr. Gregory is a hot ass mess. He should not have access to women. And I hate to pull on Sweet T's wig just a little bit, but girl, you knew the type of nigga that he was. And it's so crazy because we see people in these scenarios and you think it ain't gonna be you. You heard the story, Sweet T. You watched the show. You are a fan. You heard what Quad was saying about Dr. G. You heard it. You saw it. And you still got your black ass down to the Instagram and slid in that man's DMs telling him, I can give you what you want. After you saw what they said happened between, some of what we saw was said that happened between Quad and Dr. G. And now he's over there mistreating you. What Erica De Niro TV say about the Yelp reviews? Shout out to Erica De Niro TV. About the Yelp reviews. Y'all think y'all gonna have a different dining experience? And you have the same exact one, probably even worse. Girl, you over there with food poisoning. It's rats running around the goddamn house. Roaches crawling down the walls. Girl, you hear rats inside the goddamn ceiling. They rushing you to the hospital because, honey, girl, they done accidentally pour some bleach into the goddamn vegetable oil. Now you sick. Girl, they done dipped the fried chicken. They done dipped the fried chicken and, girl, and Comet instead of flour. Hello. I felt so bad for Sweet Tea in this instance. I did. I think Dr. Gregory is hell on wheels. I do. And I have not understood how so many people have a disdain for Quad to the point you would ignore what you have been seeing. This man came back to this show to antagonize his ex-wife. His ex-wife was minding her fucking business. And then people flip it and say that she's antagonizing him. I can't make this shit up. He comes back to the show. He came back to the show one time. Shout out to the cousins for reminding me. I remember I think they did he met up with the guys for like a little golf, like top golf situation, I believe. Cigars or something. We ain't seen Dr. G since. He gets a fiance, comes back to the show. But then y'all turn around and say that Quad is antagonizing him. Girl. So it's the end of the couples group. And they all meet up. Not all, the people that are left on the couples group. At this point, Phaedra left, Dr. G left, Sweet Tea left. Everybody else is still there. They're just having a last powwow before they go back home. One of the questions Dr. Simone asked was, how do you feel about the presence of exes in the group? Dr. Jackie says no. But from what Sweet Tea said, Dr. Jackie, your black ass was one of the main ones also supporting Sweet Tea to come onto the show. Toya says that basically they're all some mean girls. And they are. They are. They are. From Quad to Dr. Heavenly to Dr. Jackie to Toya to Dr. Simone. They are. Phaedra. Please don't get it twisted. Phaedra sitting here trying to act like they ain't some mean girls, but Phaedra, your black ass was the one who, didn't you bring Quad to Sweet Tea's bachelorette party last year? Oh, okay. Dr. Heavenly says that she was wrong for not considering her feelings when she brought Dr. G around. Dr. Heavenly is lying. Girl, you considered her feelings. You just didn't give a fuck. Hello? You considered her feelings. You just didn't give a damn. Because all y'all cared about was drumming up some drama for the show. And y'all didn't care about who it hurt. And like I have been screaming from the mountaintops, if we gonna be fair, then be fair. Go get Mariah and ask Mariah who was that woman who she said that Dr. Damon was supposedly cheating with. Bring her on the show. Bring the side chick that Curtis was walking around Atlanta airport with. Bring her on the motherfucking show. Bring on the lesbian Tammy. You know, I think that lady is a lesbian. Bring on Tammy, Tiffany, whatever her name is, the one who almost broke up Dr. Simone and Cecil's marriage. Bring her on the show. It's so crazy to me how so many people are defending Phaedra and having an understanding of why Apollo shouldn't be on the show, but you still don't have that same exact understanding for Quad. If you can understand why Apollo should not be on the show, then you should understand why Dr. G shouldn't be on the show. At least in Quad's case, she ain't had no dealings with Dr. G since he left the show. King says that both parties haven't done the work. It's an unusual, complicated situation. It's not a normal environment. King was spot on to me. And I think because they have not done the work, that's why I think one of the things that really frustrates me the most is people trying to sweep under the rug of what happened in Dr. G and Quad's marriage. Like people are trying to sweep it under the rug as if that was not a violent marriage. Stop acting as if that Dr. G and Quad just had this loving marriage and they just fell out of love and they just got a divorce and then they were best friends afterwards. And it's like that can bring like that's not what happened. So based off of the circumstance, that's why they should not. Dr. G should have never been back on that show at all, and everybody understands that, but they just did not care. And now, what happened is what we knew was going to happen. When you get alcohol involved in messy ass questions and people who are in a violent relationship, they're in new relationships and it's a camera around, what do y'all think is going to happen? What happened between Sweet Tea, Quad, Dr. G, and King is exactly what people wanted to happen. Now it happened. And I'm going to say people, I'm talking about the people on the show, not y'all. The people on the show. This is what they wanted to happen. They wanted a scene. And they got scenes, baby. Y'all got the footage now. Y'all got me going off. Y'all got Dr. G about to get his ass whooped. You see what I'm saying? Dr. Eugene says Dr. G feelings should be acknowledged and he's a part of the group. No, the fuck they shouldn't. Fuck Dr. G. You don't even talk to Dr. G based off what Dr. Eugene said. Girl, you just cool with Dr. G just because of the show. Dr. G should not come back to this show. I just think that when we start to go down this road, and this is exactly why I was saying at the beginning of this season, some of you don't watch all my reviews, which is fine. I have been saying that Heavenly needs to take a season off. And I'm standing by that. When we start to go down this road of putting people in situations that really could have a dangerous outcome because y'all just want to shoot reality TV and cause some drama, but in the end, people could get hurt. That's when y'all start to lose me. I'm all down for drama. I'm all down for the reads and shades and all that stuff. But Dr. G should have never been brought back on this show. And if your response to seeing how Dr. G behaves to Quad is she ain't even married to medicine, baby, I'm gonna need you to look deep inside. Deep, deep, deep inside. If the response to seeing Dr. G behave the way that he behaved on this show this season is to then flip it around and say, well, Quad not even married to medicine. That should not be a response to seeing how this man behaves. A psychiatrist. That's the real sad part. That man is a doctor, a psychiatrist, not an OBGYN, not a dentist. Girl, someone who helps you with mental health. And he can't even control his own shit. Anyways, that's it. I'm gone. I gotta watch Real Housewives of Potomac. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good day. Bye, y'all.